Pay or was to buy shares worth 10 million shillings, they'll still pay 2 shillings for every 10,000. So the smaller retail investors are disadvantaged, and we feel that in the interest of equity or being equitable, that it should be levied as a percentage. Before I proceed, let me allow Mr. Kelly to introduce himself.
Chairman and members, my name is Dr. Kili. I work with the pension industry and our association called APTRAC, which is Association of Pension Trustees and Administrators of Kenya. And we're happy to be here. Thank you.
So with regard to stamp duty, Wenena, do you have anything to add? Okay, point number 2. So Chair, do I proceed unless stopped? Thank you. Point number 2 is we are requesting, or rather it is about preferential corporate income tax regime for newly listed companies. What is our request? Our request is so as to encourage more companies to list on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. We are proposing a reduction of corporate tax from 30% to 15%. This request, Chair, is not a new request. The preferential tax for newly listed companies actually existed. It was there. So we are not introducing something that is totally from the clear blue sky. However, at the point when it was in existence, it may not have attracted as many companies to list as we would have wanted, because the climate, the investment climate in the country then was different. It is different today, Chair and members, and we believe that the time is right for us to encourage companies that come and list to have a preferential tax regime. It is also a way, Chair, of democratizing wealth to other Kenyans. We are sitting perhaps in a very good hotel that perhaps makes very good money. Why can't this entity be allowed to come and list at the exchange? And what can we do to encourage such an entity to come and list? Let us give them preferential tax treatment. I do believe here in your audience we have members from other associations, be they manufacturers or private sector players. To attract them to come and list on the exchange, our suggestion or our request, Chair, is for them to have a preferential tax regime. So we have given our arguments there. I think in the interest of time, I may not be able to go through them, but we have given the monetary benefits and the non-monetary benefits that such a move would come along with. Wanena, anything else for that one? Okay, so number 3 is about our request for, it's about a PIN. I'll ask Janet to take this one over.
Thank you, Chair. Our request is for the expansion of what has been provided in the Finance Bill 2026, where when you look at the non-resident investors, so the foreign investors, they are required to have, to obtain a PIN when they come to invest. So our request is for the expansion of Section 40, Clause 5B, where the provision had been given that a non-resident person shall be exempt from the requirement of a PIN when opening an account with an investment bank. We feel this will be restrictive due to the fact that when you look at the foreign investors, they will open the investing accounts through the investment banks and also commercial banks. So our request is that the provision is expanded to include for that exemption when they open an account with an investment bank or a financial institution. Through the Chair, this request stems from the fact that when we require the non-resident investors or persons looking to invest in in our capital markets, this is very administrative. And when you look at that non-resident investor, when they invest, when when they are receiving their income, either in form of dividends or income, the applicable withholding tax at 15% is withheld at source. So when you look at the listed companies, when they're paying those dividends, they withhold the 15% and remit to the government. So we're not proposing an inclusion in which they will evade tax. It's really removing the administration burden of that, but now including that it's when they are opening an account through an investment bank or a financial institution. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to emphasize that, Chair, is that this exemption was granted to us by the Finance Bill 2026, your document, Chair, and we appreciate. Only that it didn't quite capture the entire constituency of the people that would use it as we would have wanted it to capture. Thank you. The fourth is to amend the first schedule of Income Tax Act. I'll take it to President Kili.
Thank you, Chair. We have an exemption normally for pension funds, and we want to thank the Parliament for granting exemptions to pension and gratuity. It actually encourages us, or many people now, to save money for investment. Now, after that exemption to the pension funds on tax, we have a small remaining portion whereby if the member who is enjoying pension dies in receiving pension, the beneficiary will be taxed. So the beneficiaries are not given the same exemption, yet these are now children, widows and widowers, and such people who don't have any other support system. So we are proposing, Chair, that you consider extending the exemption to trust funds established by pension funds and also for death benefits, so that a member who was exempted before, on death, the benefits should also be exempted. Thank you very much. And I think the rationale covers everybody. It's a very important issue for the entire generations and also for many people. Thank you.
Dr. Kili. Our fifth point, I can see the clock is ticking, is on infrastructure bonds. I will request Mr. Wanyana from the exchange.
Sorry to interrupt. The matter that Dr. you just raised, doesn't clause 20 of the bill already take care of that? Where clause 20, just in case you haven't read, but one of the first schedule to the income tax is amended in paragraph 3 by inserting the following paragraph immediately after paragraph C, benefits arising due to death. So now benefits arising due to death will not be subject to income tax. So doesn't this take care of the issue that you've just raised?
No, yeah. That partly, and we want to thank the committee for that. What I'm talking about is pension funds normally establish a trust fund for the beneficiaries. Now that's where there's no exemption. So you establish a trust fund to take care of the interests of the children of the deceased member who was enjoying already the tax exemption. The trust fund you establish is not exempt. So yeah. Maybe I will also talk about number 5, because we are affected as the pension industry, also on behalf of the NSC, where I used to be a director. Chairman, we want to say that our country at the moment is crying for infrastructure investment by the private sector, and particularly our pension funds and such like institutions with a lot of resources. Unfortunately, the definition by law is that infrastructure benefits like exemption of VAT is only granted to government organized infrastructure bonds. This is not extended to the privately organized bonds. Chairman, I think here is where you need to open up. If the government really, in the same spirit and policy I've seen, when you open the private sector.
Ramogi juang mano wach madhi nyime kar kae boma Nairobi, jo ohala weg kembe golo paro kutera kod paro mar